So you might be asking yourself, who is this girl and why is she giving me advice? Well, my new friend, let me take a moment and introduce myself to you. I, like so many of us, had a really difficult, challenging childhood. The type of childhood that left me wondering if I was lovable, if I was good enough, what will my life be like? How will I be in relationships? Will I recognize love? How will I be as a mom? How will I treat myself when I'm older? What kind of relationships will I allow into my life as I grow? I always looked at life on a deeper level. I always felt a little bit different. And I also really found it to be soul level important for me to make sure that the people around me felt loved and that they mattered and that they were included. And eventually one day I realized that I needed to include myself in those values. So I've been on this journey where I've been collecting inspiration through ideas and through material that I've learned and through experiences that I've had and through every person that I've ever worked with on my journey or every friend who shared their story with me. And I realized that there's a part of me that's an educator that wants to share this information, that wants to share my experience and my knowledge that I've obtained throughout my life and spending my life just studying relationships and practicing the skills and tweaking them to make them even work for me even better. And on my journey, I went from being somebody who didn't know if I was lovable, if I could ever really be loved, if I was enough. I was an extreme people pleaser. I was codependent. And now, in my late 30s, I am an empowered woman. I am assertive. I do not settle for relationships that are good enough. They need to be incredible to stay in my life. I have broken the cycle, and I have an incredible marriage. And I have a son that I absolutely adore and feel beyond grateful that I get to be his mom. So I wanted to create this podcast for you, dear listener, because maybe some of the things that I've experienced or I've learned on my journey is something that you can apply to yours, or you can tweak it and make it your own to fit your journey so that you can allow yourself and give space for yourself to grow and become who you've always wanted to be, who you're meant to be on that soul level. So not only do I have my own life experiences, I have also spent my life working in the behavioral health field, in the mental health field, and I've also made sure that I have the credentials and the education to fully understand, and I continue to take trainings every year to make sure that I am up to date and that I am continuing to learn and practice the skills that are really truly going to help me create the best relationships that I possibly can have in my life, including and especially the relationship with myself. Through my journey, I learned that the most important relationship I'll ever have is the relationship with me. And I need to start there. And then it just ripples out and influences every other relationship that I have. So I do have a bachelor's in health and human development, a master's in marriage and family therapy. I also have an associate's degree as a wellness practitioner, which means that I also am a certified hypnotist. I'm a certified family life educator. I've studied holistic nutrition and also life coaching. So I've really spent my time studying this area so that I can tie in the research-based skills with the experiences that life has given me as well, so that I can deliver you experts and resources and awesome conversation that'll hopefully give you some things to think about and maybe shift your perspective or try out for yourself and see what you like and throw away what you don't. And anyway, I'm just so honored that you're here to share a piece of your journey with me. And again, I hope that part of my journey can positively influence yours. Welcome to the Beautifully Changed podcast. I'm Steph Perhamas, and I'm delighted you're here. Now, let's make your relationships awesome. Well, hey there, awesome sauce. Thank you so much for coming to listen to today's episode. Whether it is your first time here or you've been here multiple times, I truly appreciate your listen. And today, I have such a treat for you. I know I say that pretty much with every guest I have on, but I think it's true. Every guest shares something that's super helpful that we can start applying today. And I love that. Today, my friends, we are going to be talking about skincare and self-care. I think this is super important because we all have skin and it's important that we take care of our skin. And to me, taking care of our body is such a fantastic way to engage in self-care. So I invited my fantastically wonderful, really good friend, Sunny Subramanian, as my guest. And she has a blog called Vegan Beauty Review. And she has been exploring the skincare world for over a decade. And today, Sunny is going to share with us her wisdom from her experiments with self-care and skincare. She is my favorite go-to person for skincare questions, and I really hope you enjoy the conversation. Before we dive into that, I wanted to let you know that I am offering 2 new services now. It's come to my attention that people love to have an accountability buddy. And so now I'm offering that service for you. If you want to check it out, go to beautifullychanged.com, work with me. You'll find accountability buddy there, or also you can ask me one specific relationship question. So if you are somebody who has a question or a situation that you're trying to figure out within your relationship, but you don't want to commit to coaching and you don't want to have all these sessions, you just want to ask this one question and then move on, I now provide that service for you. So make sure to check it out. Go ahead and go to beautifullychanged.com/1-specific-relationship-question/ and you can go ahead and put in your question. What you'll do is you'll just email it to me and then I will answer your question, and then you can email me back for clarification or anything else that you want to further kind of weed out about the question. I'm excited to be offering those additional services to you besides just love and dating coaching or hypnosis sessions. I wanted to make sure that I am meeting the needs of people that are coming to my attention. So yay for that. Okay, so now for today's discussion with Sunny, you might want to grab a notebook if you want to take some notes. I know for me, I definitely wanted to jot down Sunny's evening routine that I do use myself, and I love the results. Okay, so let's dive in, shall we? Woohoo! Hey, Sunny. How are you, my love?
Hey, Stephanie. Mwah! I'm good. And I'm so excited to be a guest on your podcast.
I know, it's like your 5th time.
Oh my God. And it's as exciting every time.
I love it. I love it. So I was thinking before we jump into talking about skincare and self-love, I thought it would be really fun to, if you could share or think about something about yourself that's kind of quirky that only people who hang out with you in person would know. Like, for example, I make up songs about Keone's childhood all the time. Like, we'll be just sitting around and I'll just start like singing this like ridiculous song about Keone as a kid. So I was wondering if you have anything like that you do that's kind of quirky.
That's kind of quirky. The only thing I can think of that's not like, it's something I only kind of share with myself or whatever. Did I tell you about my time traveling?
No.
Oh, so sometimes like if I'm laying in bed with my kids or whatever, like I'll imagine that I'm an old lady, or like I am in my brain. I'm an old lady, I'm 80, and I'm lamenting how, like, I wish I could go back in time and be with my kids when they were little. So like I mentally time travel to the future, to the past. And then, oh my God, I'm here in the past and I get to experience them being little and they're right beside me. Do you know what I mean? Like I trick my brain to think that I've time traveled when it's actually the present. And then I get to like really take those moments in as though like I get a second chance or something.
I love it. You're like really imprinting those special moments in your brain.
Yeah.
I love that. So then when are 80 and you're old, you'll be able to just go poof. Oh yeah, there's that memory again. I love it. I love it. Did you come up with that on your own? You're just like, this sounds really fun.
Yeah, I don't remember how I came up with it. I think it was just like laying in bed one time looking at my kids and just like, oh my God, I'm going to miss this. And then like imagining I was old, and then it just kind of, I don't know, like, because we're all going to have those regrets and fears, right? When we get older, like, oh, I wish I could go back and experience their littleness, because it is ephemeral. Like, it does pass and we are going to miss it. So it's like, oh, just, tune into that briefly.
I love it. I could totally see you coming up with that completely on your own because you're so sentimental. And like one of your favorite things ever in your entire life is being a mom. So it would make sense that you would be like, how am I going to cement this into me forever so it never leaves?
It is total mind trickery to where like I will every single time I'll start like bawling.
Aww.
Because it's like I'm time traveling and I'm here with my babies and they're little again. It's so silly and amazing at the same time.
I love that idea of time traveling because whenever anybody asks me, like, if you had a time machine, where would you go? I'm like, I would go back to the dinosaurs just to see what the dinosaurs were like.
Cool, yeah.
I'm like, are we right about what dinosaurs actually look like? Did we get those?
Like, how do we know what color their skin was? Like, all the brontosauruses are green in pictures. Like, how do we know? I know there's bones that they've recovered, but like, how do they know all the little things?
Exactly. That's what I want to see. What color were you really?
Right.
What were you really eating? And how did all this happen? But I love that. So now I think when I time travel, I'm going to do that exercise. I'm going to go back in time and actually start imprinting. I think even times when Micaiah was a baby, because I haven't been doing this the whole time, so I have work to do. I got to catch up. So today I really, really wanted to hear your wisdom and your experiences around skincare and self-love and how they're tied together. So I wanted to hear, because you've been doing this for like, how old would you say you were when you started to invest in self-care? And can you think about when you very first started, maybe how you noticed that as you were doing this, you started to build a relationship with yourself as you were taking care of yourself?
Yeah. That's great. Well, as far as skincare, because they're kind of there is definitely some overlap, but I got into skincare, honestly, when I was little. I remember going to my mom's bathroom and she had like the fancy, or I thought it was fancy, like oil of Olay, like little gel tablets with the face oil and stuff. And I would sneak in there and like, doo. So I think I always had an idea of like, to feel fancy, you start with like the face and stuff. And I didn't get into like skincare on a much bigger level till I started my blog in 2007, and then like brands were sending me things all the time, and I just got to try so many things, and I've always been obsessed with like eye creams and moisturizers, so I just discovered a bunch of stuff that way. And regarding self-care, honestly, I don't think I started incorporating that practice until after my divorce. I think, bits here and there like during my marriage, but when you have like little kids and you're like always kind of on as in mommy mode, it's kind of hard. I would find moments, but you have to have a partner that allows you to have that space, and I don't know, it's complicated.
It is complicated. So since you're divorced, then how long ago did you get divorced? For anybody who's like, well, how long has she been divorced for?
Okay, so that was November 2017.
Okay.
Yeah. And let's see. Yeah, it's definitely morphed over the years. Like, as you know now, you know how big I am into plants? Like, that's become a form of self-care, like, which I never expected. Like, you don't really think of like plants, self-care or whatever, but it kind of is whatever it is to you, right? And have you heard of joy triggers?
Maybe. Tell me more.
I don't know who invented the term. I don't know who to credit it to, but surrounding your like sacred space with little things, like when you see them, it like automatically brings you joy. Or even having like a cup of coffee or tea in the morning, just little things in your day that bring you happiness, like on a very like simple, basic level. I've decided to like really hone in on those kind of things, and I don't think that happened until like only like the past few years.
I love that. And so I actually have my clients do that all the time, but I've never called it joy triggers. So when you said that, I was like, I don't know if I know this, but yes, having joy. And like, so actually with a client the other day, I was talking about how it's so important that you do this, like your morning, your afternoon, your evening, that you have like little things that kind of give you a little boost of like, yay, for the day. Like, especially like for me, I have my, where I get kind of my like slump of the day as always between 2 and 3. That's always when I feel like, oh, I could use a nap right now. So if I do something, as you would call it, a joy trigger at like 1:50 or 1:45, it prevents me from feeling really tired from 2 to 3. It's like I like bypass that like sleepy mode, and I just continue my energy throughout the day. So I love that though. I like the term joy triggers. So
Do you mind me asking like what some examples are? I'm like dying to know, just like on a friend basis. Like what are some things that you do during that or before that window?
So for me, I'll be like, okay, well, it's 1:45, so I'll get up and I'll start walking around. Maybe I'll do some stretching. Maybe I'll listen to like, I'll be like, okay, dance party time, and I'll put on some of my favorite songs. Or maybe that's where I'll send you a text or something and I'll be like, hey, how's it going? Because it's like a little connection with someone else, since I am, and staying at home, working from home, stay at home mom, all of those things. It's like, and especially now with COVID-19, we're not going out and socializing as much. So connecting with someone can be good. Maybe I'll watch like, I don't know, a YouTube video that I think is funny or something like that. Just like something that is like a little upbeat, a little boost. Or I really like jumping on the trampoline.
Oh, I love that step.
Yeah. So those are some of the things that I do that are, or like I'll pour myself a cup of green tea, specifically green tea, because that's my favorite. Or I'll have like a date, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. Okay. You know what I think is really interesting is when you're sharing this, that you feel like you weren't engaging in self-care when you were taking care of your skincare earlier. But to me, skincare, especially because I hear so many people when they're struggling with self-care, some of them will get to the point where they won't even brush their teeth. They don't wash their face at all. They like showering is hard, right? Or anything that has to do with looking in the mirror, they will avoid as though it's the plague. How do you say that? Plague?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So for me, knowing that you've been taking care of your skin ever since you were really little, right? Sneaking into your mom's room. I think it's so interesting that it was such just like a natural piece of you that I wonder how different your life would have been, especially through the hard moments, if you didn't have that little special moments for yourself.
That's really interesting. Really fast regarding the skincare, since I was young, I feel like because like elementary school, middle school, high school, aside from like dipping into my mom's here and there for like fancy treat, like I didn't have the monies to buy skincare. So pretty much all my school years, even through college, like I didn't even moisturize my skin. And I remember one day, it was winter in El Paso, Texas. I opened up my compact and I looked in the mirror, and I swear to God, I'm not even joking, I looked 80 years old around the eyes. And I turned to my best friend from college and I was like, okay, Becky, keep it real with me. It's okay. I won't be offended. I need to know, girlfriend to girlfriend, do I look old? What is going on? And she's like, yeah, I think you need some moisturizer. It was like I had full on creases, like deep creases. It was crazy. And I was like 20. That's when kind of like an Uber switch got flipped. Like I had already valued skincare based on like my mom's routine, but I couldn't afford that stuff. So I remember going to Ralph's, which is like Safeway or Kruger's or whatever, one of those like grocery stores. And I went to probably the wrong type of store to find skincare. And I bought this fancy eye cream that was like 20 something dollars. And I had to use like savings, right? Like food money. And I remember like taking such a teeny amount out every night because I wanted it to last. So honestly, it wasn't until like my blog kicked off when it was just like, okay, I have no excuse to not use these types of things that I got really into skincare. And I think that gives people hope. Like it's never too late to stop, because I had full on those creases, and then like I got into the habit of moisturizing every day, and then like they got better. Like my skin's better now than it was when I was 20. Is what I'm trying to say.
Well, yeah, I mean, because right now you don't have any creases. I mean, maybe when you smile, but
I do. But if I didn't moisturize or take care of my skin, like the past decades, like I don't know.
Yeah, that's so interesting. You know what? I didn't even start moisturizing until this year.
No.
Yeah, like I literally have my very first bottle of moisturizer that's like actual moisturizer from Botanical Rush. And
amazing, Steph.
Yeah, like I had no idea how important moisturizer was. But what I have been using since I've known you is, well, you know, that little face oil you make for me, like put together for me. So I call it like Sunny's Happy Face Oil. And I'll use that. And so I've been using that. And then, but I went and got a facial for the first time this last year. And I can't remember what month that was, a couple months ago, like maybe November-ish. I don't remember. But the lady was like, your skin's really, you have really good skin. However, it's really dry. You need to moisturize. And I was like, my skin's dry? I didn't even know, you know? And so I'm going to be 39 next week. And so I was like, I better start moisturizing, because I'm starting to see like the little lines showing up around like my, I don't know what area you call this, if this is like your eye area.
Your eye,
yeah.
I would imagine in Arizona, like year round is probably, you're battling a little bit with dryness. Not like everyone, I would imagine, right? Because the air's so dry. But my whole thing about like, oh, if you moisturize, all that, you didn't even need it because your skin's amazing. The fact that you hadn't been doing it until like super recently, that's amazing stuff.
Well, thank you. I don't know what it is. I really honestly think it's just drinking lots of water, but
it's too, right?
Yeah, I'm so happy to be using it, because I remember like the first, and also we'll talk about your skincare routine that I heard you share on your other friend's podcast. And like the first night I did that, the next day I was like, oh my gosh, my skin feels like a baby's skin. Oh my gosh, I have baby cheeks. And I was like, I love this. And so I've been doing it since. Now, here's the interesting part. I didn't do it for a week because I was like so busy. So I would just do my regular, like, wash my face and then throw on your oil, and then now the moisturizer. And I can feel a difference. Like my skin doesn't feel as soft or as moisturized. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So your skincare. So hopefully we will have a time where you can kind of share your routine in a second, because now everybody's like, I need to know the routine. Tell me the routine. I want baby cheeks. So, okay, before we go into your routine though, maybe you can share some do's and don'ts of self-care for someone like me, who's really honestly just really starting to understand it and understand like the value behind it. And as you said, you can have hope. Like it's never too late to start taking care of your skin. And also I'm throwing lots at you, but we could break it down if you want to. Does skincare, is it only limited to your face, or do you have other tips for like your neck, your body, all the goods?
Okay. Okay, let's start with dedicating that time when you incorporate it as part of your like morning and nighttime ritual. It's automatically a self-care thing, because it's like your dedicated time, right? And I like how I remember you saying on a podcast, I think maybe it was with the Botanical Rush lady, how like when you're putting it on, you like think the parts of your body, like right, you know, like being grateful and showing gratitude. I love that. Or maybe saying daily affirmations while you're looking at yourself in the mirror. Like those kinds of things are really helpful. And I think, I mean, ultimately, like the things we do, like we curl our eyelashes, we straighten our hair, all these things help boost our self-esteem, right? So starting with the basics, the foundation, the skincare, super helpful. So wait, what was that? I'm sorry, I'm losing track.
So do's, let's start with do's. So what are some do's and don'ts of skincare?
Okay. Definitely. Let me start with don'ts because they're the most obvious. Like, don't go to sleep with your makeup on. And like, I've done this a few times when I was drunk or whatever, which is rare. But seriously, so shitty for your skin. Terrible. Even if you're wearing like natural makeup, don't do it. Don't do it. Always take your makeup off.
Because why? Is it getting like in your, like, what's the reason behind that?
Well, one of the main reasons is conventional makeup. Like, not everyone's like leaning toward the all natural stuff like we do. You have these chemicals sitting on your face for like 24 plus hours. Not good. And also your pores are clogged, like your skin can't breathe. And at night is when our skin repairs itself. Our body, our cells, everything regenerates, and we're kind of like, we've blanketed it down and everything's trapped in there and people break out. And anyways, so don't sleep with your makeup on. I guess that's kind of like the major don't. Big do is moisturize. Like, if I could go back in time and tell my younger self anything regarding skincare, it'd be like, moisturize at least at night, not even during the day, just once a day at least. I didn't start doing that till I was in my 20s. Like I said, definitely moisturize. I don't know. I think it's okay to have a simple basic thing where it's just like remove your makeup, wash your face, moisturize. Like, it doesn't have to be fancy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like that, especially if you're worrying about your budget or you're somebody who just likes to be more simplistic, right? And like the pure wash your face. So, okay, let's talk about this then. When you're picking out a face wash, what should you keep in mind? And a moisturizer.
So definitely you want to keep your skin type in mind. Like, if your skin's really dry, maybe a more emollient or oil-based cleanser. And, if you have acne-prone skin, maybe stay away from the oil cleansers and go for something. It's hard to find a moisturizer that's for acne-prone skin. In fact, when like I get hormonal during the time of the month, that's when my skin breaks out. For the longest time, I would just skip moisturizer. That was like a no-no because almost all moisturizers have oil in it. It's just like, I'm scared, I don't want to do it. It'll just make it worse. But there's a couple of brands that make some really good specifically for that skin type moisturizers. Two brands I can think of. So skin type is essential.
Wait, are you going to let us know the brands? Because people are like, tell me the brands.
So Osea makes a blemish balm, which is the one I've been using for like, I feel like a decade. And what is the one that just came out? I'm trying to remember. Like, I just discovered it.
You can let me know, and I'll just add it to the show notes.
It might be Derma E. It was like a new to me product that I think just got. It is Derma E. It's Derma E, which I haven't tried yet, but I know they make it.
Awesome. And you like Derma E anyway, like in general, you're a fan of their product. So
I especially like them because they're accessible. You can get them at Target. They're clean, green ingredients, and their entire line's vegan and cruelty free, and a decent price point, affordable.
I like that. So yeah, that's another question too. I'm kind of taking you random here, but have you noticed, since you've been reviewing products for 13 years, and more, is there a difference between the price points? Like, have you noticed that, if you can spend the $200 on the moisturizer and it'll make a big difference versus the $30 moisturizer, or even, I don't know, $10 moisturizer? I don't know what the prices are, but.
So I think, that varies. Like, for obvious reasons, like, for instance, lines that have CBD, like if the ingredients are more expensive, like they have to charge more. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Also, if they're using organic ingredients, like it is going to be a higher price point. But if you're comparing like apples to apples or whatever, like to like similar type ingredients, obviously people allocate more funding for like packaging or let's do this, or we want to appeal to more higher end customers or whatever. So there's a range. But overall, I would say yes. But there are definitely companies out there. Like, there's one called Save, I think, and they're an all green beauty brand, and they're budgety, but they have all the clean organic ingredients, but their packaging is kind of simple and they just want it, like basic. So definitely do your research. I think it all boils down to the ingredients. So if you find a really expensive brand and one that's like really reasonable, just like compare the ingredients and you should be good to go.
Yeah, that's a good point. And do you think it matters though, like how great this skin product is based on if it's natural or not?
That kind of goes with where you sit with food products, right? Because it all goes into the body.
So it kind of goes down to your value system. Like, do you
Not just values, but like an ingredient that might have been grown with pesticides could, have residual trace amounts in your body when you put it on your skin. I haven't done any research per se, but.
Yeah. No, I agree with that exactly. Like, that's what I'm saying. But some people, like, their value system is they don't care if it has pesticides. So, like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, they're not, some people don't mind if the products aren't pure or toxic free, as long as they're working for them. And
Gotcha.
other people want, such as us, we want to have clean or pure as much as possible. However, I know for myself, even, like, I know I'll use a mascara that I know is not as clean and pure just because I like the way it looks.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I'll wear a more clean and pure one depending on what I'm doing. So, I was just wondering if, as you've noticed that throughout the years of using product, so maybe my question is this: is the pure and chemical free, like the toxic free ones, are they just as effective as the ones that do have the more toxic ingredients?
Ooh. Okay, so I'm not like a scientist or a lab person, so I can't like definitively say. And also, I've like my arsenal of beauty products is probably at this point 95% the clean. And like if I do, but I'm like you, like mascaras, like I get you. I have my favorites, and they're not necessarily the cleanest. But for skincare, if I get sent something and it's not clean and you can smell the fragrance, the parfum, which is totally artificial, or it just feels a little off and it doesn't make me feel good. More often than not, when I try something that isn't pure, I get automatically turned off. But again, maybe that's just like a psyche thing, and I've psyched myself into thinking like, but I don't know. Effective, I would imagine some of these like make claims like 30% of women notice fewer wrinkles after 12 weeks or whatever. Like I'm sure they all to some degree do something. It's just I don't know. I mean, I feel like women who discover that chemicals are out there and they're prevalent, I can't imagine someone learning that information and be like, no, I still want that. Unless it's totally just a price thing, like I can't afford it or something. But the DIY route, it's like just go for the pure stuff, buy it in bulk, cheap, and take care of yourself,
Yeah, and I think that both of us then would be living proof that the pure toxic free does work, because that's what we use the majority. Like that's the foundation of everything that we use, and both of us have a more youthful appearance.
Yeah.
So
and we vegan, right?
yeah, that's right. Except for, I haven't been vegan nearly as long as you. I only have 7 years in, and I would say mostly vegan because sometimes I do use honey.
That's my words. That's so chill. By the way, every 7 years, don't we do a complete cell turnover? Like you're a new Stephanie than you were 7 years ago.
I love it. Okay. So more do's then. So I love how you talked about when you set aside time for yourself, that in itself is self-care, to just have some me time, saying the affirmations, doing your routine. You can keep it simple. And you ended off with moisturizing. And then I cut you off to go on this whole other journey. But
let's see. Another do. This is like a self-care you do. I put Post-it notes up on my mirror. So while I'm getting ready, I have little like reminders to myself, that's like a nice thing to do. Let's see, other do's. And there are days, by the way, if I wake up and like I washed my face the previous night and did my whole like 7-step routine, and in the morning, like I still kind of have that from the previous night, and I'm not going to wear makeup that day. Sometimes I don't wash my face again until the evening. Like I'll skip a morning because it's like, I haven't been out like getting toxins from the air outside or whatever. I don't know. But if your face is feeling gunky, or you've been sweating at the gym, or you have a full face of makeup, just like get that ish off. Just number one tip, remove it. I don't know. I don't think there's a lot of do's or don'ts.
Okay, that's good, because I mean, I think sometimes when you're hearing all the marketing and when, you're not like, living, breathing like this world, then it can feel very overwhelming, because we'll hear like, don't use your fingers to wash, use these things instead. Or like lately I've been using, I got it in like a box, like I don't know if you've heard of them, the subscription box, FabFitFun.
Yeah.
And they sent like a makeup remover washcloth, and I was like, hello, my lovely. You just made my life so amazing. I was like, I'm getting this for Christmas for everyone. It's so amazing. But then I'm like, oh, so now I use that as my like for wash off the makeup piece. And then I'll go through and do your routine. That maybe you could share your routine now then. Maybe that'd be a good time.
Just really fast, while I remember when you said, oh, an example, like don't use your fingers. That's another don't, is that you can use your fingers, but make sure to wash your hands before you wash your face. Because if you've been like playing with your phone, and like phones are dirtier than toilet bowls, do you know what I mean? You don't want to put that directly onto your face. But I sometimes, I don't know, I have a microfiber cloth too. This is what I do. Okay, routine. So squirt with the face wash, right? And right now I'm using a Derma E. It's like an anti-aging salicylic acid one, right? So I put that on. This is like in the morning with my fingers. And then to take it off, I grab my microfiber cloth and like I take it all off. And don't forget the neck. That's another don't forget this, because in the bath when we shower, we kind of forget that. So like when you're in the, dealing with the face, get that neck. Also, when it comes to moisturizing, don't forget this. Another little tip is when you're putting on your anti-aging creams and your beauty oils, if there's excess, this is what I do at the end. I put it on my hands, because our hands age and always give away our age. No matter how much you take care of your whatever, like these get neglected. So go like that, give your hands a little love, a little extra anti-aging love. So after I wash my face, so if it's the nighttime and I want to remove makeup, I'll use a makeup removing cloth. And I'll use an oil-based cleanser, especially to get off any stubborn mascara, right? So I'll use an oil cleanser. And if it's one that has a really slick after residue, then I'll break that up. I'll do a second cleanse with like my Derma E or like a non-oil one. But there are some oil cleansers that as soon as water touches your face, they just like dissolve, which are like this one. This one is so lovely. This oil cleanser is like super oily, but the second you add water, it's just like just comes off. By the way, this is Pi Skincare. It's called Lightwork Rosehip Cleansing Oil. It's so good. It's so good. So after I wash my face, I use toner, right? Which is can be in spray form, or like you put it on a cotton round. And the brand, okay, so this isn't necessarily a clean brand, but I'm freaking obsessed with this product, Stephanie. You should try it.
Okay.
Pixie Beauty, are you familiar with them? They're very drugstore friendly. You can find them like everywhere.
Yeah, they're at Target. I see it every time I walk by.
They have a glow toner that has salicylic acid in it. So it's basically like a peel, a nighttime peel every time you sleep. A very gentle one, but it's sloughing off the dead skin cells. It's like if you were to go into a clinic to get like a professional peel, but like a much lower grade, more gentler one. And it doesn't matter if you have like sensitive skin or anything like that. It's so gentle. Derma E also has a glycolic toner that you can use at night. I've been using this for years, and mostly because like during Christmas, they sent a giant bottle every year with like my name on it. It's like, fine, I'll use it. And then I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait to get my bottle this year. It's so good. It's so good. I'm obsessed. But
would you use the toner on your neck then as well, in like your chest area, or just your face?
What you're supposed to do, what is it? Décolletage?
Yeah, I just skipped that word. I don't know how to say it. You know, the D word, the upper D word on the females.
But honestly, I usually just go down to the neck. I don't really get too involved, but you're supposed to do that area too. So yeah, so white, I use a reusable cotton round all over my face with like 3 pumps of that stuff down the neck. And then after that, I will use a serum. And right now I'm using a vitamin B5 hyaluronic combo serum. And basically what that does is it primes your face to absorb all the moisture that's about to come for the next round. It like, I can't remember, it retains like X amount more retention. It's like 100 times more moisture than if you didn't wear it. I forget, but hyaluronic acid, amazing serum, all skin types. So I put that on, and you could do any serum. If you have like acne, you could use an acne serum or anti-aging serum or what have you. And then I'll do a light moisturizer, or a thick moisturizer if it's winter and my skin's feeling extra dry. So after the moisturizer, I will use eye cream, which is my favorite beauty product of all time. And it's hard to find eye creams that are like, oh, that's the one. And I'm very into, like, I want a thick consistency. Nothing bugs me more than any beauty product, whether it's like a moisturizer, cream, or serum, where it's just like watery and runs down your face. Because it's like, where's the zhuzh? How are you doing work? You're just running away. So I like my eye creams nice and thick. And right now, actually not just right now, for years, Osea, and they're an expensive brand. But like a little jar, it's called eye and lip cream, and it like really like targets like creases and stuff, and it's just so thick and amazing feeling, and it's just love it. So I'll use an eye cream, and then after that, that's when I use an oil, all over facial oil. And right now I've been using, I have it right here, Botanical Rush, the CBD one, the Divine Beauty Oil. I also, Silk Taj makes a CBD glow. So for anti-inflammation and redness and all that jazz, if you get a breakout, like those oils are usually safe. And they're packed with anti-aging, like grapeseed oil, jojoba, like all the good stuff, rosehip seed oil for fighting wrinkles.
So what's the difference between a serum and an oil? Because don't sometimes the serums have an oil in it?
They can be, but usually serums are more like a gel, gel-like consistency. So a serum is kind of like, if you have an area you want to target, whether if it's like, okay, I really want to fight wrinkles, or I have hyperpigmentation or really dry skin, it's like you're priming, it's like the target ingredient. Like serums are really important because if you have a concern, that's where you tackle it. And then a moisturizer is just kind of like for overall softness. And then the oil is for, especially at nighttime. I don't use beauty oils in my final step for morning, just nighttime. So I can really let that soak into the skin. And the beauty oil is just like when you wake up in the morning, it's like, that's when you get the like baby softness. Yes.
Yes, and I use this one, I don't even know what it's called. You'll probably know what it's called, but it's like a little metal. I should have grabbed it, but it's like a little metal thing and it vibrates after I put the oil on. I don't use it consistently, but I'll use it every once in a while because usually my son will be like, woo, what's that? And then he wants to do it, so.
Oh, I want to see, is it like a microcurrent thing or?
Let me go grab it.
Okay, yay, I can't wait to see.
Okay, so it's this.
Ooh, I don't know what that is. Tell me more.
Only so can you hear, like if I touch it like this, you can't hear it, but.
Oh, yeah.
It has to touch
like a face vibrator, yeah.
Yeah, so it has to touch your skin. So when I put and it's supposed to help us so the oil, like, is absorbed better or something like that. I think I just got it on Amazon, but I was like, this looks fun.
Oh my God, I love it.
Yeah, and so but I don't know, is that something, am I doing something that's probably harming me, or do you think it's okay?
No, I have something similar. I'm trying to remember. Only in that it vibrates. I don't know if it's like the same type of technology, but it's like a bar looking one. It looks like a T. And it's like,
yes, I wanted that one, but that one was more expensive. So I went
it's like made out of gold. Or it's totally. I honestly don't even use it, but it sounds fancy, and I don't really remember what maybe it helps open the pores to get the serums to sink in. I don't remember. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's something like that. Yeah, it's supposed to just help it. Like you just put it on and do like a circular motion, and you know, I gotta say honestly, since I've known you, I've definitely taken way better care of my skin because you are so generous with giving like tips and like, you know, try this, do this, whatever, you know, and I feel like though, when you get like something like that little vibrating face thingy that I use, it'll come with like directions of like, go this way on your forehead or this way on your cheeks. And I'm like, listen, I'm just lucky I'm doing this at all. I'm not necessarily going to remember all of the which ways to go about it. But I think using it at all is, hopefully it's beneficial and I'm not hurting myself because I'm not going exactly how it says.
If anything, it's like a nice face massage. And are you familiar with gua sha, the like Japanese tool? It's like made out of jade and you kind of like roll it against your face. It helps stimulates like blood flow. It's supposed to help with, I'm trying to remember, there's like so many benefits and I would imagine this is very similar.
Yeah. Well, I want to get that. I went to order it for like my little birthday present to myself, but they're out of stock. So I'm like, okay, I'll just wait. So I'm on their wait list. I'm from Osea.
Osea, okay.
right? And so, but I want it because I also have like TMJ and I have like this, like I clench my jaw when I'm sleeping and all of that. So I was like, I'm always really sore around my jaw part. So I really want that to help kind of break it up as well. So
Great idea.
yeah, I think it'd be super
And
helpful.
it's a great time to use like with the serums or the moisturizers, and it feels so good. And like especially with the Osea one, the way it's like shaped, it's like the perfect size for this, and then like the smaller end is perfect for getting the chin. It's like they just nailed it.
Yeah, it's like they know what they're doing.
I know, right?
So, okay, so I did want to take a moment though to talk about your book then right now, because we did mention how there's a huge variety of, I guess, cost or price points that can happen. And so if you are someone who wants to start investing in your skincare routine, and you also kind of like being crafty or doing things yourself, Sunny has an incredible book. So can you tell us about your book that you wrote and how amazing it is?
You're very sweet. Thank you. Thank you. It's the Compassionate Chick's Guide to DIY Beauty. There's 125 recipes in there for face, skin, and hair. And basically, it's all ingredients you either already have in your kitchen, in your cupboard, or stuff you can get online. And very clean, non-toxic, and you can make them for lovely gifts for yourself or your friends. And a lot of the ingredients are versatile. You can use them in multiple recipes. And yeah, it's super fun to do. They're super effective ingredients and they're fun. You can do them like you have a little sleepover with your girlfriends, or like do little projects with your kids and make bath bombs. And I don't know, there's a lot of benefits.
Yeah, and you know what, especially right now, while we are still, a lot of things are still shut down, like salons or all of these things, right? So or things are running out, other places, like things are in short supply. So right now is kind of a perfect time to start experimenting with it. I know when I got a copy, I started using recipes out of there all the time. And I think it is really fun. The ones though that I've been nervous to try are like the hair masks. I don't know. How often do you do that? And what's your like favorite one? If you were to pick one that you're like for dry hair.
Oh, probably avocado.
I was thinking avocado, but I'm so nervous about putting avocado in my hair.
And then there's that also like, avocados ain't cheap. Like, do I really want to? Maybe like an avocado that's gone a little past due, and you don't want to quite eat it, but you don't want to throw it away. Just like
That's the ticket right there, girl. Because I'm thinking if I have an avocado and it's like ripe and perfect, I'm like, I'm eating this. On my hair. You're going in my belly.
Yeah.
I like that though. When it's got the little brown spots and you're like, okay, now I gotta throw this spot away. I'll be like, hello, hair love. Okay. So I was curious. At what point, how many years in did you kind of have, now I'm going to ask, like, you're going to have to step off from like, I guess, the humble side of your personality. And this is where I kind of see you as an expert in skincare, even though you don't. But I mean, you know more about skincare than anyone else I know, because this is what you do. So at what point in your life did you have kind of that moment where you're like, holy cow, I get this. Like, I understand skincare to my bones. Like, I can look at a bottle and know instantly, looking at the ingredients, I would never use this, or looking at this and be like, hello, come to mama.
That's hard to pinpoint exactly, but I'm guessing it took like a few years after blogging and receiving things and trying things and getting familiar with active ingredients and oils for which skin type and this and that. It's just kind of like a learning curve. I mean, obviously now I feel super duper confident. I've probably felt this way for, I don't know, at least 5, 6, 7 years. I don't know, but it definitely took a few years to know and to recognize like how things react with your skin type. And I feel like when you don't really know your skin type or what to look for, you just kind of like buy things either based on the marketing, the packaging, like branding, whatever. And then you start to notice like, oh, my skin does this. And like a lot of times products make claims that, I will say, as a beauty blogger and having tried a million things, Skincare can only do so much. Do you know what I mean? If you really want to see like big time results, you're gonna have to do more drastic things. And I'm obsessed with beauty tools and stuff like that and getting like things done. But like skincare products can only do so much. So diet, sleep, exercise, all those like baselines of taking care of yourself are what's gonna ultimately give you your best skin and genes and whatnot. And all the other, and then all the facial steps you take are just to kind of foster the skincare, the skin that you're treating yourself with, you know?
Yeah, that's such a solid point, because if I'm feeling a little bit alligatory, right? Like I have a really, rough skin and I'm moisturizing and I'm like, what is happening? But you hate drinking water, so you never drink it and you're only drinking soda.
Right.
Or I don't know what else. I mean, I really only just drink water and tea and kombucha, so, and wine every once in a while. You know what I mean? But I know a lot of people love soda, or like the flavored waters that have a bunch of sugar in it and all these things. So I kind of think that if you're not drinking water, it doesn't matter how much moisturizer you're using, you're going to feel frustrated in that this stuff doesn't really work. And it's really, what are you doing to nourish the inside of your body too? Like, how are you feeding the little cells inside of you that are like, I want to help you feel amazing, right?
Yeah, like 70 something or even more percent water. Like we're essentially water. And I learned recently a couple tricks to know when you're dehydrated. And John's always pointing this out to me. If I'm like, I move on the couch and I have all like the lines from the couch, he's like, you're dehydrated. You need to drink some water. Like if your skin gets indentions really fast, you're dehydrated. Also, I've noticed I can look at my thumb and it'll look a little wrinkly, almost like I've been sitting in the tub or what, just a little bit. And then if I hydrate, like it gets plump and it's like, oh my God, I didn't know you could be an indicator of like dehydration or whatever.
Yeah, those are solid points. Or even just like for me, I notice like if I'm not hydrated, my eyes get a little bit poofier. Also, interesting little fact that not everyone I think knows, or maybe people do know now, and I'm just out of the loop, but because we are of so much water and dehydration, hunger and thirst pains often feel the same. So a lot of times people will actually eat when they're thirsty versus if they just like, their body's like, no, I want water. And you're like, let me eat this sandwich over here. And your body's like, no, I still want water. Right. So a lot of times that's why I think some people will say, when you're hungry, drink a glass of water and then see if you're still hungry or how hungry you are, because our body, like, we're just like, oh, I feel hungry, let me eat versus let me hydrate. So yeah.
You got me. I'm gonna start drinking more water. That's actually one thing that I need to work on. I only drink water really when I'm eating, but when I eat, I drink so much water, which I think isn't even that good for you because it like breaks down the ends. Like you're not supposed to do that, but I'm just listening to my body. Like that's when I want to drink. Like why would Mother Nature make us so damn thirsty while we're eating? That seems like fine. But then like morning tea and stuff. Like I do have my dedicated. I guess tea is the only time I drink water aside from like eating milk.
Yeah, but tea counts. Tea counts, especially if it's like a green tea or an herbal tea. You know, it's like if you drink coffee, for every cup of coffee, you need to have 2 more cups of water, you know, all of this stuff. And like, I mean, really it's based on your body, but like a easy rule to follow is half your body weight up to a gallon, right? So you don't want to drink more than a gallon a day unless you're like super active outside. Like probably in Arizona, I'm sure the roofers drink a lot of water a day. But really it's like tea counts as your water intake, stuff like that. So yeah. Awesome. I love that though, how you mentioned like what you're eating, how much sleep you're getting, which as we talk about sleep, one of the things that I just got, and I know that you've had for a while, is a sleep pillow. And so what about sleep and skincare matters? Like what are some of the tips and tricks and I don't know, anything about sleeping that you've discovered on your journey?
Just to reiterate, don't sleep in your makeup. Don't sleep in your makeup. So yeah, if you are not a back sleeper, which is obviously the most ideal, and like I can't imagine what percentage of us are. I mean, I am to some degree. I think I fall asleep like this, and then I get comfortable and move to the side. Like I'm definitely a side sleeper, which is where that sleep pillow comes in handy. And honestly, I'm so due for another one because the one I have is probably so embedded with like bugs from just life because I've had it for like 10 years. I didn't even know they were still making them. I remember like a few years ago, I was looking for one and like the company that I got my previous one for was like out of business. And I was like, I'm just going to have to make you work. But it's cut in a way, it's carved in a way so that when you're sleeping, you're not smushing your face on the pillow. It's like literally kind of like hanging free. And I feel like over time, if you always sleep on a certain side, like those, even though they seem temporary in the morning, like you have these lines on your face and then throughout the day, they get less and less. Over time, night after night, those creases are going to start to like conform into like real creases. So unless you're a back sleeper, which I'm guessing you're not, not you, the listener, whatever, I highly recommend a sleep pillow. An anti-aging one, or even sometimes if I'm like at a hotel or not my house and I don't have a anti-wrinkle sleep pillow with me, I will like smoosh, I don't know the word, I'll like contort the pillow so it's kind of got that C shape so my cheek will have like a little free area.
Oh, I like that. So what I've been doing, so I just got a sleep pillow, an anti-aging sleep pillow, and I'm loving it. But I am mostly a back sleeper. Simply because years ago I got this other like pillow from like Tempur-Pedic or something, and it like had like this little divot where it goes for your head, and it was like that's how you slept. So I was like, oh, this is nice. And I stopped sleeping on my back when I got pregnant because you're not supposed to sleep on your back, right? And then and so anyway, then and I kind of have this like stuffed dolphin that I sleep with that actually an ex-boyfriend gave me when I was like 18, and I still have it. Aww. And I literally use it to like prop my like underneath my like I don't know, side of my face a little bit so that I can feel it's not like smushing me, you know, that it's kind of to the side. So I've been doing that for years, and then I saw this one, it's called Sleep and Glow. And I was like, let me try this baby out. And I'm loving it so far, except for I can kind of see how when I'm sleeping on my side, like you have to be in the right spot for it to feel comfortable and to feel like it's doing that, you know, like you said, like kind of supporting it so you're not smushing. But yeah, it's really, I like it. I think though, if you're not used to it, it would take a while to get used to.
It's been so long since I've had mine, but I kind of feel like I remember it was a little awkward at first. You do kind of, but then once you're into that zone and you're used to it, it's like, that's all you want. That's all you ever want, right? It's like,
yeah, exactly. It's like your pillow, you're coming with me on trips and everything. Okay, so now that we're heading into fall, is there any tips that you would do different during the fall time than you would in the summer?
So skin definitely gets drier in the fall and definitely the winter. So just like you have a different morning and nighttime routine, you're going to have a different summer and winter routine. So just like more emollient cleansers, thicker, more the types of ingredients that are going to really target dry skin for sure. And then you want to lighten that shit back up for summer, or else, you know, with the sweating and the this and the that and all the humidity, like it'll break out and stuff.
Oh, that's good to know. You know what I was thinking about too when I'm talking about skincare for the rest of your body? So the little oil that I think I've asked you like 20 times, like what's the recipe for this or whatever, whenever you don't make it for me. But I now just like a couple, maybe like 6 weeks ago, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to use this on the rest of my body. And so I've been doing that too, like on my arms, especially because like you said, Arizona, it is so hot and so dry out here. So normally I think when I was in Oregon, if I put like a lot of oil on my skin, it would feel like oily. But now I feel like it just is like, it like just drinks it up, you know? And I'm like, ooh, hello, soft arms. Nice. So again, like if you are somebody who is listening and you want to just have some fun with some skincare, I definitely recommend Sunny's book because you have so many tips in there too. So you can even like tweak things and try things different ways. And then you can actually, I like to keep notes and be like, okay, I liked this, or I would replace this oil with this instead, or I like this essential oil better for this, or whatever, you know what I mean? Like from your other recipes, like kind of tweak it together and make it like what works for Steph versus, you know what I mean? So I think it's really handy that way.
That's great. And I love that you mentioned about using it on your whole body, because there's so much emphasis on the face. Something I've only been practicing probably for the last 2 years. Are you familiar with dry brushing?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So I think you're technically supposed to do it before you take a shower, but I like taking it after I take a bath. And so you go from the bottom up, you're working like toward the heart. And then when you get to the belly, it's clockwise or counterclockwise? Clockwise, I think. Anyways, so it stimulates the blood flow and lymph nodes and all that stuff. And then after that, applying moisturizer or oil. And also in the summer, if you still want to use an oil, they have what's called dry oils, where like they'll just like, it's like, was that even an oil I put on? So oiling up after doing the dry brushing. And after you do the dry brushing, your skin's kind of like, I need moisture. Like you can feel it. It like tightens up. Like, ah. And then you put that oil, and there's this thing in Ayurveda called Abhyanga, which is self-massage. And there's certain oils you can use for that based on your skin type. And like, this has been like a big self-care. After taking a bath, I'll do the dry brushing and then an oil massage. And it's just like, ooh, thank you, son. It's like my birthday or whatever. It's just a really nice way to take care of your skin and kind of just get you, well, if you do, I'm a nighttime bather. It's just like the perfect way to end the day and relax and just feel yummy.
I love that. And this is where you were saying earlier where I was talking about how you can like say nice things to yourself, because so often if you're going to be doing this, which I love that idea of like taking it and massaging yourself, use that time to have appreciation for your body and not criticize yourself. Because if you're taking that time that's supposed to be like building you up and uplifting you, like, I know this sounds so funny, but we are made mostly of water, and water responds by our vibration and what we say to it and how we treat it. And so if you are literally saying to yourself like really kind things and appreciation for your body, you're going to see, I would bet, if I was a betting woman, I would say that you're going to see the results that you want to see by using these products a lot faster and a lot more consistently than if you're massaging yourself and you're like, ugh, look how gross my leg is. Oh my gosh, I have a, oh shoot, what do you call those? Stretch mark right here, and like, oh, too many moles, which I used to always complain about was too many moles. And now I'm like, hey, look at you on my body now. Hi, new friend. But I think it really matters, like what you're saying to yourself when you're doing these. Use it as a time to like give yourself an epic pep talk, and like no one else is listening, and who cares if you feel goofy at first, you know?
I love that. And when you think about it, our body does so much on autopilot. The fact that we're alive day to day, like I almost want to thank every single cell for just like keeping ish together. You know what I mean? I love that, taking time to appreciate your body and individual body parts. Because like, how often do we take time to do that?
Yeah, that is true. Because it's like my new thing that is like, our body shows up for us every single day, no matter how crappy we're treating it. Like if we're not feeding it any veggies ever, it still shows up for us and is like, okay, what are we going to do today? You know? So it's like, yeah, just take a moment to appreciate it, because you don't get to enjoy this life without your body. So yeah, I love that. So, okay, how about this? If you were to start with one product to kind of treat yourself with, and I heard you say eye cream is your favorite, but you also really love moisturizer. Like, is there like a go-to product you're like, okay, if you're only willing to try one thing to start with, to start your routine, do this?
Oh man.
You're like, the thing is, you don't want to do just one thing.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, I would say, I guess, find a face wash that you love, because that's like the basic. Oh man, that's tricky. Because like after you wash your face, I don't know if you feel this way, and it's not with all cleansers, but after you wash, it's like such a dry feeling after, which is why toner is really nice to do after, because it's like, so I wouldn't just say like do a face wash only. That's a tricky one. And the way like I love eye cream, maybe someone would really love a serum. That would be at the top of their list. So I would just say experiment and find like a one product. There's also multitasking products, like certain oils you can use to like take off your makeup, wash your face, and moisturize your face. And it's like, oh, I just saved a lot of money, and this is some pure ass-ish. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, maybe finding something that you could use on your face and your body. There's also products that you can use on your face, body, and your hair, you know, if you want to have like a budgety situation, or I don't know.
I like that. Okay, and what about if you were to add this tool to your routine, it could be a game changer.
Oh, like a beauty tool?
Yeah.
I love beauty tools so much. Right now I'm like obsessed with micro needling, and I know I was before, but I finally, Steph, tried it on my face for the first time. I'd always been using it on my stretch marks, and I have nothing but glowing things to say, but I did my face, and it was crazy, Steph. And I don't mean the actual, I mean afterwards. So after I did the micro needling, and I think it was only like 1 or 2 days later, my skin started peeling off. Like, you know, when you get like a sunburn on your scalp and you can like peel off a chunk of your scalp with all the holes in it from the hair follicles? My face, and you know what's crazy is all the creases I had in my forehead looked even deeper and like like I looked so nasty, and I was like, what did I do? And like as the days went on, I would start like peeling these like chunks off, which is also very gratifying. It's like taking off the scab. And then like a few days after that, I was like, oh my God, my skin, like this only after 1 treatment. Like I don't think you're supposed to actually see results to like 4 or 5 or 6 treatments. And it's really good for people with acne scars or pits or stuff like if you really want to target something like that. I was just going for like wrinkles, and I don't like have deep wrinkles, but you know, I was blown away. That's my favorite tool. And I know it's not for everybody, especially if like someone's listening to this and they're in their 20s and that's not even a concern. It just helps stimulate collagen production, right? And as we get older, we don't produce enough. So we trick our body into creating these like micro wounds, and then the body creates the collagen, and your skin like gets plumpier and just like a fresher, younger face. It's like cheating the system.
I love that. So, okay, so you use the one that like the actual legit tool versus the little roller.
Yeah, I do. The brand that I use is called Dr. Pen. And the roller's fine too. It's just you can't adjust the settings or how many needles. With the Dr. Pen, it comes with these cartridges, and it's either like 16 needles, 32. I think there's even like a 42. They even have like a 3D nano one, which just like does micro things to help your serums and stuff sink in. There's just more control, and you can adjust the depth. So if you have fine lines versus like thick scars or stretch marks, you can like go hardcore on those. And also it's automated. So it's like that. It's very consistent and more hardcore than I feel like the dermal rollers, or if you're like maybe nervous about it or like super noob and you don't want to just dive in, like, yeah, I would try those.
Yeah, I like that. So I know that is one of the tools that that you introduced to me before was the derma roller, and you did the derma needling the micro needling on my stretch marks as well on my belly. And I had like a scar there for my surgery. What's that?
Oh, is that where I did? I thought I did on your neck or something.
No, you did it here. Maybe you might have tried my neck one time, but
okay.
I think you definitely did it on my stretch marks from pregnancy.
Okay.
And I remember being like, oh, okay. Like I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be so painful, but it was fine. And then I know I had a friend who had like acne scars that she was really self-conscious about. So I told her about the little roller that you can, get on Amazon for like $20 or something. And so she did it. And that is the one thing though, when I do it, which I haven't done in years, so I should probably start doing it again. Especially when you talk about the collagen, because I think as a vegan lifestyle, I can't find like a vegan collagen product to consume. So, maybe I just don't know about it, but
I have one for you. I could tell you after.
Okay, tell me. But anyway, she used the micro needling roller thingy, and that's what I was saying. I do that in the right direction, right? Because I don't want to mess up my face, but she was like, oh my gosh, my scar is healing. Like even after the first time she did it, she started to notice a difference. So she was like, I'm doing this all the time. So I do think it's a great tool, and one that I think people don't talk about because maybe it feels like, I don't want to tell you that I'm doing this, but it's like, hey, if it's helping you just embrace yourself and feel good and take time for yourself, I think it's a good thing. Okay, I have...
To skincare, like I was saying, there's only so much you can do to see results. Like you're actually altering the skin with the beauty tools. Do you know what I mean? like, I think if you want results, like, I think that's why I'm so excited about that one, because you can visibly see and feel a difference than just like using like this cream that promises to reduce wrinkles.
Yeah, I like that. I know. I'm always so like my neck is my most self-conscious thing because I have the lines on it. So actually it's so funny when I see other people on like movies or Instagram, I'm like, oh, having lines on your neck isn't a weird thing. Like like so many people have it. Like I feel like it's more unique to have such a smooth neck like yours. I feel like it's very common to have wrinkles or lines on your neck and then I look at pictures of myself when I was like 16 and I still had them.
Yeah,
So I was like,
I swear I never even noticed anything about, like, when you originally told me about you being self-conscious about that, it never dawned on me. I never even noticed them. You know what I mean?
yeah.
We're more aware of like the things that make us feel weird than I think the people who see us, right?
Yeah. Well, I guess I was thinking like, oh, I'm just like this weirdo who has this, but it's like everywhere, just like I beat myself up like I used to, which I don't anymore, but about, like I said, like, oh man, I keep getting moles or like freckles and stuff like that because I'm so light skinned and I live in Arizona.
Yeah.
But now I'm just like, you know what? I'm not going to waste any time on being upset over a freckle. Like, this is my body. I'm just taking it in and it is what it is.
Yeah. Good for you.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay. So I'm curious. So just a couple more questions. When you dream at night, does skincare ever seep into your dreams?
That's such a cute question. You know what? My kiddo was asking me the other day, like, how many dreams do we have in a night? So I asked Alexa, because I have no idea. I thought maybe it would be 10. It's 100. Did you know that on average we have 100 dreams a night? So my answer is none that I can remember, but I must have out of 100 every night for a life.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like because since 2007, like this has been what you've been dedicating your time to learning about, right? So I just think for myself, like if I have like a situation with a client that I'm really trying to figure out new approaches to, I'll dream about it. So I was like, oh, you got to be having, so that's interesting. And personally, I would say that you're like technically a skincare expert or a beauty expert, whatever you want to say, because isn't the rule if you have 10 years or 10,000 hours, which takes about 10 years of learning and applying what you learn, that's when you become an expert because you know more than the average person about it.
Oh, I guess so. That makes sense. I'm an expert.
You're an expert, girl. I'll get you a t-shirt. And so, okay, let's see here. If you weren't a beauty blogger, what would you be doing instead?
Honestly, I would be doing traveling. What's interesting? I heard someone say this on the other day. It was actually from the other podcast. Jason Robel was saying, we like to say like, oh, I will feel successful when I get this achievement. And he's like, I just want peace. I just want peace. So like, that resonated with me big time. Instead of like, oh, I need to be doing this for a career or this or this or that. I just want peace. And I feel like if I had the funds to do it or like the skill to maneuver around the world on a budget that was doable, I would just travel, I think.
Yeah.
And not worry too much about like working,
Yeah, like traveling and eating all the new food, like experimenting with food, right?
Totally.
I love it. Okay, Sunny, what is something that you think is overrated?
What is overrated? Oh man. Oh, I need a second. What's overrated? I've always felt like the stereotypical like male beauty. Like people, I think we've had this talk like so many times. Like I am not really attracted to any of those people. Like male celebrities, I think are overrated. What's overrated?
Yeah, we definitely have a different taste and physical appearance of who we would like. I mean, not that it's okay. This sounds so terrible. It's not like we're sitting around like rating guys like on a scale of 1 to 10, but we definitely are like, oh, he's a hottie, and you're like, what? And then you're like, he's a hottie, and I'm like, are we seeing the same? Right?
Yes.
But I love that because that so speaks to that everyone is attractive to someone.
Someone, yeah. And thank God, right? Or it'd be like everyone just likes one person. It'd be crazy.
Right. There's only like 2 couples ever in the whole world.
Well, tell me something you think is overrated.
Okay, let's see. Overrated. That has to do with like skincare or self-care,
Oh,
or
how much meant?
oh,
Oh,
no,
sorry,
just in general. No.
oh.
Okay, overrated. I would say, uh, okay, I guess like how can I word this? I think it's overrated that oftentimes women will accept a guy holding a door for her, but she won't hold the door for a guy back, especially if he has his hands filled with stuff, right? Like if it's a new dad, or like a dad's carrying like a baby car seat or something, or their hands are full, a lot of times women won't stop to hold the door.
Messed up.
Yeah, so I think like that, I don't know if that's like an overrated thing, but I think like maybe it's an overlooked thing.
And I feel like even if the guy doesn't have his hands full, like I would open the door. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't even have to be like, oh, it looks like they need help. Like if you're in front of them, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I feel bad. I probably should have answered in the skincare way.
No, you could answer in any way. That's why I like that question, because it's literally. Wait, did you answer?
Oh, I said male celebrities.
Okay, that was your answer. I thought you. Okay, I get it. I thought you were like sidetracked there, and then you were like, "That's not my real answer." Okay, yes, male celebrities. I was like, "Wait, Matt Bomber? He's not. What? He's gorgeous." I know Keone's always like, if I ever left you, I'm going to go get Matt Bomber. And I'm like, hey.
That is funny. I don't even know who that is.
Oh my gosh. Girl, you got to Google him. He's so gorgeous. He was on White Collar. And, okay. I don't know what else he's been in, but he is gorgeous. So, he was in Magic Mike too for like a brief cameo.
Oh, that made you happy.
Yeah, he's definitely the type of like typical gorgeous guy, you know. But anyway. Okay. And what is something that you wish everyone knew about self-care, and then something you wish everyone knew about skincare? I'm doing two because I know you're really big into both.
Okay. I feel like self-care, people like to think it's always like a dedicated fancy thing. Like I have to have a bubble bath. But sometimes it's just getting like a nap or like a full 8 hours of sleep. Like it could be a simple thing. It doesn't mean like going out and buying a book and reading a book or going on a hike. It can be really small, like drinking a cup of tea, right? Mm-hmm. And what was the other one for skincare?
Yeah.
What I wish everyone would know. Wear SPF, or if you're going to be in the sun, like 20 minutes max, and then find some shade, wear a hat, because 20 minutes gives us that vitamin D, right? Our body will synthesize it. But other than that, especially with the condition of the world today, right? And the rays are much harsher than they've ever been. Like skin cancer rates are up, and it also contributes to wrinkles and skin discoloration, age spots. Like just 20 minutes caps.
I love it. And okay, so this one, I know you have such like a gentle, loving, kind nature. So this question might throw you off a little bit, but what if someone was to say to someone who wants to be in, like, do their skincare, or like maybe they have a friend or a partner that doesn't support it, and they're like, that's so vain or so shallow to want to take care of your skin. Like, what would you say to someone who has somebody telling them that, and then they're like battling, I want to take care of my skin, but I don't want that to make me like a shallow person.
Oh man, that like boggles my mind that could ever be a scenario. But I would say that person's not a friend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just like gross to think about.
Well, I think about that because even when it comes to like the love languages, right? A lot of times like people who are like their love languages gifts, that can often be taken as like, okay, materialistic, right? And It's like, no, like gifts are not a bad thing. So people don't want to say, oh, gifts are my love language. They're like, quality time, even though they're like, please give me a gift, right?
Yes. And you know what I was thinking just the other day, I was talking to someone about this, how, you know, when someone cooks you a meal And it's like an expression of love, the making it, the receiving it. Because like I've always said, like, food's my love language, food's my love language. And I realized just the other day that I think that is categorized as gifts. Is it not? The gift of food?
Yes.
I'm not ashamed. That's my number one love language is food equals gift. So whatever. Like whether I make a meal or receive a meal, like there's always love going into it. It's not just like slopping something together. I don't know.
No, that's such a solid point. And actually, like, you're one of my favorite people to make food for because usually I feel really self-conscious about making food for people. I don't know why. I think because like my grandma was a cook and my mom and all this stuff. So I'm always like, oh, hopefully this doesn't taste horrible. But you're always so like, I love this. It's so good. Actually, this is kind of funny. This would probably be like a quirky thing that I do. I actually just started like a list of food that I want to make for Sunny when she comes to visit.
Oh my God, that is the sweetest thing. And by the way, like your food is always phenomenal. And that makes sense that you grew up around people who are always cooking because you have those instincts like to a T.
Well, thank you. But it is really funny. I'm like, ooh, I'll like eat something. I'm like, oh, Sunny would love this. Where's my little one?
Oh my God, that's really touching.
Yeah, like I literally think about food for you and Keone all the time. Like Makayo, he's so picky, so he's just like, I'll have a bagel. Okay, well, Sunny needs to come visit so I can make this meal.
Oh my God, that is the sweetest. That is so sweet.
You know, and it also makes me reflect just kind of randomly when somebody else does make me a meal, because I used to be like the pickiest person ever. And so it would be really hard to eat food that other people made me. And so, but now kind of thinking of it as like, oh, as a gift, it shifts the perspective for me. So thank you. I love that way of seeing it.
It just dawned on me the other day because I thought I was being silly, like, food's my love language. And then I put two and two together and I was like, okay.
Yeah, that is, I love it. Okay. And so if people are listening and they want to find you and contact you, be in your orbit, where would they go?
So I'm probably most active on Instagram at Vegan Beauty Review. But you're going to drop me a line via email, Sunny at Vegan Beauty Review. And all my social profiles are Vegan Beauty Review, except Twitter is vegan_beauty because they don't let you have enough characters to spell which always makes me feel uncomfortable because I don't want people to see my handle and be like, oh, she thinks she's a vegan beauty. Do you know what I mean? I tried so many different ways to like, whatever.
Yeah, but it would be fitting if they were like, oh, she is a vegan beauty. Yeah. And okay, last question, what is advice that you live by?
I think this falls very much in your wheelhouse. It's just like to be kind. Like everybody, you have to treat everyone with kindness because that's what else is there? Like love and kindness. That's like the currency of life.
I love that. You know, I was just thinking about this today too, as I was getting all excited about talking with you, and I saw somebody else's post on Instagram and I was like, wow, you know, just a regular day can be somebody's worst day ever or somebody's best day ever. And so I love that you're ending it with that, like, just be kind, because you don't know if the person you're talking to is having a phenomenal day or if they just had their heart broken in some way, right? So kindness is really something that everyone, like, this is so weird. I had a conversation with someone before where they literally honestly believe that you don't need to be kind to people with money. And I was like, I don't know that we could be friends. But I was like, and so we literally had this like debate over, but don't everyone deserve to receive kindness, even if they are rich? Like, rich people deserve kindness too. And they were like, I don't think so.
Like they go their way to not be kind to them, or they just don't extend themselves. I don't even understand. What does that mean?
Yeah, it's like they wouldn't even extend themselves. Like if someone's rich, they kind of just feel like, I don't want anything to do with you. You have like all these luxuries, this thing like, I don't think they're going to go out of their way to be rude, but they're probably going to feel like, you're going to feel that negative energy when you're in their presence. Okay, kind of. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like that weird vibe. So I love that. I think regardless, as Jim Rohn says, it rains on the rich too, right? And so everyone deserves kindness. I love that. I love how you call it the currency of the world.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Well, Sunny, thank you so much for joining me today. This was phenomenal. I always love our conversations, and I love that you're so willing to share this wisdom that you've spent, decades learning so that all of us can benefit from it as well.
Oh, thank you. This was fun. I love seeing your face and hearing your voice and talking to you. I miss you.
I know. I miss you too. This was phenomenal. That's why, we'll have like a part 6 at some point.
Thank you so much for spending some of your time with me today. And make sure to share this episode with someone and leave a review. And remember, you're worthy of incredible love.